Hello guys, this is Robledo. Welcome back to another ICSTC Experts Division race. This is race 2 of season 5. Once again, I am with Bearder Racing. Unfortunately, Bearder won't be joining us today, so I am going solo. Here's a reminder of the team and driver standings. I'm in 7th with 11 points. In the team standings, Bearder Racing is in 5th. We have 17 points total together. Bison is our biggest competition, so it'll be important to get as many points against him in the sprint race and in the main race. We are racing at Lost Lagoons in the Vost. I put in a lot of practice and I'm not too confident. This is a really tough track, as you can see already on my qualifying lap. I hit the wall and got stuck in the grass, so I didn't get a good run going down the main straightaway into the first hairpin turn, so that is going to cost me time. Apologies for the gap in recordings, by the way. We're going to throw that in really quickly while we watch my qualifying lap. Got really busy. I'm in college, so I don't really have the time to be constantly recording videos or editing. So I did get really busy, but we are back here, ICSTC Experts Division again. Really excited. As I mentioned in the last video, this is my first league in any racing video game. So I really don't want to make any enemies, and last race we did make, I guess, an enemy in a sense. I did get penalized for the contact I made with Bison, and so today my main goal is just to be clean, get out of people's way, and don't have any issues. So I didn't get a good lap in. As I mentioned, I had the issue down the main straightaway, and on the second time around I had lag spike, so we didn't get the best qualifying lap in, but that's okay. Here's the starting grid. We are starting at the back. Satnav is a reserve driver, I believe, so I am curious to see how they do. I wasn't sure what to expect of them, how fast they are. Now this is the sprint race, so there's no collisions. Only got 8 laps. And this is all about putting in consistent qualifying laps for 8 laps. There's no contact, you just gotta go as hard as you can. Who cares about giving each other space? You can't hit them anyways. Up the hairpin, I love that turn. Against the AI, I do much better, but with other actual people, I don't really have that advantage. And in my mock races, my test races I was doing, I was really confident going into that turn, like, wow, I'm really fast in this part of the track. And that was just completely thrown out once we went through that hairpin turn for the first time. So fast forward to lap 2, we did lose some ground. I made a lot of mistakes in the first lap, but we caught up to Satnav and Captain Beefheart. I believe got a corner cutting penalty, so that allowed me to catch back up to the pack. Lost Lagoons is one of the toughest tracks in this game. I never really enjoyed racing it, but when I put in a lot of practice the week leading up to this race, I really started enjoying it. The other racers in the chat, they didn't seem to enjoy it as much. I enjoyed it. I love sliding around with these cars, and when we get down to the main race and we have really old tires, you're even sliding around even more, so that's really enjoyable for me. And we fast forward to lap 6, Bison makes a mistake. So it's the first of many mistakes from both of us. As we looked at the standings before the race, he is our biggest competitor right now. We are tied with 11 points. So it is very important I finish ahead of him in the sprint race and in the main race to capitalize on getting as many points as I can against him. Going back to Lost Lagoons being one of the tougher tracks in the game, they did reconfigure it, I think. I think they flattened it, and there's a lot of more jumps rather than just rolling hills. So I couldn't really tell a difference. I never really raced this track as much as others, so it wasn't a big deal to me, and I really enjoyed the race. So here we go, lap 7. I cut the corner, and that allows Bison to get back in front of us. So his mistake cost him a spot, but I gave it right back with that penalty. So that was unfortunate, and I make another mistake. So it's not like I could have put pressure on Bison that final lap, and that really sucked. But then he makes another mistake, so we get back in front of him. I'm not sure what happened, but I get the place back. So we're in 8th, and it's not much. I don't recall off the top of my head how many points 8th place gets, if they get any anyways, but we do get 8th. We are ahead of Bison, and that helps a lot in our championship standings against him. So as a result, War L and Liker are the top 2, Deef and 3rd, finishing at the podium. So really quickly, I did check the standings to see how many points I got against Bison in that sprint race. I got 5, he got 4. So here's qualifying for the main race. We get 3 minutes. This is a long track, so fortunately we are going to be able to get 2 laps in. Here's our first flying lap coming to the line. Over the first jump, around the second hairpin. A lot of hairpins. I love the switchbacks on this track. Unfortunately, I am a bit slower, I noticed, through the first sector, I guess you want to call it that, of the track, those 2 back-to-back hairpins. But the rest of the lap, I am pretty competitive. And it was a bit distracting here with, I think this is Beefheart, I'm not sure. It was a bit distracting, but you can see he is much faster than I am at any part of the track. So that's unfortunate. I wasn't competitive enough to be in the top 5, let's say. And with that lap, that puts me 7th, and I spin, another mistake, and so that's gonna put me behind. And we fast forward 40 seconds left to do my second lap. I could have gone 3 laps in probably, but because of that spin, I was only able to get 2. So here's the start of my second, around the second hairpin. Over those 2 jumps, it's so hard to get right. I practice and practice and practice to find where I should land, how much throttle I should give, how much I should turn in, when I should turn in. So it was really fun practicing and learning this track. It's very complicated. You really have to nail this part, especially going around this rock was so difficult, and I finally was able to get it right like the day before this race. And you can see, I'm not sure who that was, but they hit that rock and just flipped like crazy. So coming to the line, we qualified 9th and jumped back up to 7th with a 45.1. I think that was my best lap I've done all week. So somehow in this quali session, I was able to pull out this lap and get a decent starting spot with 7th. So let's go to the race. I'm not sure why we're taking so long. I should have edited this out. Again, this is only my 3rd video, but anyways, you're gonna sit through this with me. So there's the results. Bison qualifies 9th. War Out again in 1st. I think they were in 1st the last race, or in the sprint race, excuse me. So here we are again, main race. Let's get to it. And we're off for the main race, Lost Lagoons. Contact is on for this race, and immediately I get bumped out of the way by SatNav, and I have a little error going over that first jump. Didn't land right, went sideways, so that allowed Bison to get ahead of us, and the pack starts pulling away from me, which is really unfortunate. The draft is not that powerful. We don't have the settings up that high. It's pretty low. So it's important I stay with the pack as SatNav spins until this Bison, and I make contact with him. I kind of pinch him, and I felt a little bad, and I make an error again. So I felt really bad about that. And let's see if we can get a replay of what happened. It was his mistake, but I kind of pinched him. So coming off the hairpin, he lands sideways in the grass, puts him in the rock, and I hit him, and that sent him spinning again. So I do let him back. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I got a penalty for in contact with him in the first race, and I did get a penalty point or two. I don't remember exactly what my penalty was right now. So I just want to make sure I don't get a penalty, no time penalty either, and I just want to let him go. So we do let him go, and now I have to catch back up to him. But he is slightly faster than us, I think, and it's going to be really tough. And I was okay with letting him go. I was up there with the car in front of him, but I don't think I was as fast as they were. So I wasn't going to risk it. They were really, that car in qualifying was way faster than I was. So I didn't want to even try to race with them and just let Bison go. And here, I don't know, oh, Viva Midnight, excuse me. They had a lag spike or something, and they hit the wall and went spinning like crazy. So I was going to let him go, but they had that lag spike, so I just floored it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'll let you by the first turn. So I don't want any issues. And I'm realizing I'm saying so much, but you know, I guess it's something I gotta get out of, a little habit. And here's that car. It is Beefheart, who I was trying to keep up with, but I decided, you know, I'm just gonna back off, let Bison go, so that I don't get a penalty. I let Beefheart go. I let Liker go. No issues. I don't want to make any enemies, and just want a clean race. Fast forward lap 8. I am pitting this lap. We're doing a 2-stop pitting lap 8, and then I believe lap 16 if I recall. It has been a while since I recorded this race, so my memory is a bit fuzzy about pit strategy and what actually went on during the race. Lap 9, we are in last. I'm not sure how. Here I was panicking a bit. How did Satnav get to 7th? I don't remember when they pitted. So I was really worried. I'm like, man, am I really gonna finish last? Because I feel like I can finish 7th. 7th is my goal. And so at this point I was really worrying. But then Bison makes another mistake, and I get ahead of him. And this set up an amazing battle for the next, I think, 3 laps, if I recall. Side by side out of that turn, he tucks in behind me. I get a tighter turning radius through that left-hander, and I get a better run going down the main straight, pull away. On my screen, I did feel a touch, even though, on my screen, on my controller, I felt a little tap. So that kind of sent me a little wide, but it was okay with me. I wasn't upset about it. And just a great battle right here, going through those switchbacks and over that big jump. And up the hairpin, trying the crossover, didn't work. He takes a wider entry into this turn, but he just went too wide. So I get a better run. He is attacking the corners more, and I go easy in, so I get a better run coming out of the turns. As you can see, I pull away down the straights, whereas he attacks and closes in on me in the turns. And here's another example. Right there, he closes in, but then he gets a time penalty. He cut the turn a little too much. So I am able to breathe a bit. He makes another little error back there, you can see on the left hand side of the screen. So I'm able to breathe a little bit, take it easy. It is so easy to make mistakes on this track. So I just need to calm down and get through it. Here's a replay of what happened with Bison, why I was able to catch up to him. He hits both rocks on either side of the track, has trouble getting back on track, and I get by him. So that's why we were able to pass him. Fast forward lap 13. Bison is still on me. He is faster than I am. As you can see, he caught back up to us. And we're gonna have another great battle here, I believe, if I recall. This was such a great race. I had so much fun this race. This track was awesome. I understand why some people don't like it, but look how fast he caught up to me in the hairpin. I take it so much easier than him going into the turn, and I feel like that helps me just put some distance on him. As you can see, I'm pulling away more. On older tires, I think we're about matched. You can see my tires are at level 17. So I run a little wide going into that turn. So Bison is able to catch up to me, but he had a bad landing on that jump, so that puts him back to where he was. Awesome battle, Bison. Really glad we were able to have this battle, because last week I did have issues with him, or he had issues with me, and it was so great to have this battle with him. Really enjoyed it. He keeps cutting that first turn a little too tight. He keeps touching the grass and it unsettles his car. So even though I think he was much faster than I was through those first two turns, but he keeps making those little mistakes that allows me to pull away and put some distance on for the rest of the lap. We're almost side by side coming out of that turn, going around the rock. He's on my bumper. Close battle here. We do make contact. I kind of go wide just to give him space, so he can't say I didn't give him space. Just awesome battling here. We're on 0% tires. He decides to pit. He's going for the undercut. I'm staying out and trying to get the overcut. So fast forward again, lap 16. Perfect stop in my box. And there goes Bison. So he did get a great undercut, and he has put out a great distance in front of me. He was faster than I am, so I did get nervous at this point that I won't be able to catch up to him. However, I did hold on to some hope since he was making a lot of mistakes this race. So I just have to run a perfect last 5 or so laps to keep up with him. But here he has a bad landing, touches the grass, spins out, and I get back past him. I'm not sure how that happened, because that's not really a place you spin out after a jump. This is the one that's easy to spin out from. This hairpin right here is also easy to spin out. And here as well, if you don't land right, if you clip that grass too much, like we saw with Bison, you can spin yourself out. So Bison now really far behind. I just need to run smooth 4 laps now, and I get home in 7th. That was my fastest lap of the race as well, 46 flat basically. So let's see what happened. Bison jumps really far. I don't know how he jumped that far. Touches the grass and spins out. So here we are rejoining in lap 19. I am in 7th. But I hit the rock and I almost flip. Good recovery though, and I keep going. My heart dropped to my feet. My heart was just completely stopped beating in that moment. I was so scared. I just threw away this result. But somehow I kept it going. Now we know what the underside of a Vost looks like. Lost. Just insane. Great camera angles from the Circuit Superstars replay. So I was shaking. My thumb, I remember, was like quivering, trembling, and I was just so upset, like, oh my god, I'm gonna throw this away, because now Bison, that allowed him to get closer, so that puts a little more pressure on me, and perhaps I'll make another mistake. We'll find out. We got 3.5 laps to go, passing the rock where I hit and nearly flipped. Lap 21. Starting now. Bison is not catching up to us. Here we are now on the final lap. Bison still not catching up to us. My tires are down to 0 again. Just no mistakes. Keep it clean. Don't try anything different. There's no way I can catch up to 6th place, which is Gurgi. Again, I don't know how to pronounce that. But a great race, I think. On my part, well, it wasn't a great race. Bison and I both made a ton of mistakes. But a great result, I guess. There was no way we were fast enough to get the top 5. You can see how far behind we are from the rest of the pack. I'm not sure what strategy they did. We did a 2-stop, and there's the end of the race. We didn't make it to the line in time, so we don't have a official race time. We do finish 7th behind Gurgi and ahead of Bison. There's the podium, War L dominating this race. Congrats to them. So let's take a look at the standings. Somehow Bison is ahead of me by 1 point. I'm not sure how, since I finished ahead of him in the sprint race and the main race. So I'll have to double check that before the next video. It looks like it's going to be a battle between Bison and I for 7th. There's no way we can catch up to 6th. And Satnav is a reserve driver, so he won't be able to challenge us for 7th either. So with that, thanks for watching. I'm going to try to get the next 2 videos up before the final race, so I'm caught up on the schedule. And hopefully you guys leave any feedback, comments. And again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.